Hello guys, we are back. As you can hear in my voice is not fully there. Been taking one too many calls, collecting a little bit too much cash, but we roll anyways. Today, I am going to be bringing on someone very special to talk about what she's achieved in the last 30 days. Now, this is someone that I am incredibly proud of, not just because of the results that she's been able to achieve, but in terms of her work ethic, her mindset, and her ability to move with speed and implement everything. Now, when she came to me, she'd already been closing on this offer for a couple months and was sitting at a 22% close rate. She was already a decent closer, but she really wanted to go from good to great, which is when she reached out to me. Within 30 days, we were able to double her close rate to over 50%. Same offer, same leads. So I'm going to introduce you guys to Maxine and let her tell you guys exactly what changes we made that allowed her to do this in such a short period of time.
Hello, my friends. Today we have someone here very special. So Maxine, who is Maxine? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. So, hi, my name is Maxine. So, I am personally a former athlete. So, I used to practice Taekwondo for 17 years before coming into the high ticket space. I used to be also in hospitality. I used to work with athletes on mental preparation. So, I've been involved into psychology, these kind of things. I always had an interest in human psychology, I guess. And that's what led me to the high ticket space to be able to hop on this call, having conversation. And I've been working, well, I started as a setter a year ago and transitioned into a closer back in October 2025. So it's been 6 months officially that I've only been closing. Yeah.
Okay, so 6 months you've been closing, and like what offer are you on at the moment?
Yeah, so right now I am on a health offer. So health wellness, we sell functional medicine program, functional medicine support. So for people who have chronic health issues, not been able to figure it out how to best help themselves in terms of their health and their body, we help them get to the root cause and finally get into their best, healthy self.
Yeah. Okay, so you've been selling on that for the last couple months, and like what's
Yes.
the price point on that?
Yeah, so our biggest ticket is 5,800, and we
Yeah.
also have I would say downside another offer which is 3,300.
Which is 3,300. Okay. And so what was the biggest thing that you were struggling with like before we started working together?
Yeah, so for me, I would say it was more so in terms of having that tough conversation, meaning when it came to, limiting belief that the lead process will come up with, I would have a hard time leading them through seeing like how this was kind of getting in the way of them getting the right support or them finally making a decision about changing their situation. So part of me would kind of avoid that because I felt that I didn't know how to lead them through this. And same thing when it came to objection handling, part of me was kind of not feeling comfortable and confident and lead them through a making a decision. I would say this way, I will take their bullshit and just run with it and be like, oh, maybe like, yeah, and like they're not ready, or kind of feel like if I were to have the real conversation, I felt that I was either pushy or it would come up in a way that I didn't feel comfortable with. So I knew I had to change that because it was more so a belief in myself that them somewhat, saying I want to think about it, saying these kind of things meant that they were not ready, and me challenging that will mean that I'm trying to push and it was just about the sale. So I
Yeah.
knew that I had to
And
kind of reframe that.
in those moments, like when you did try to like objection handle kind of like the old way and you did
Yeah.
essentially like where you were trying to push, like how were you feeling when you were trying to do that?
Definitely not comfortable. I felt it wasn't me, because I'm someone who, I've worked with a lot of athletes before, being myself, and, I want to be there to help people. Like, that's also my mindset of like, I'm here to support this person in making the best decision. But for some reason, when it came to objection handling, my mind would go to, you're trying to push them into doing something that they don't want. That was kind of the belief then. So I knew that there was something off about this that I need to change to make sure that I was doing it in a way that actually makes sense for me, that was in alignment with what I truly believe.
Yeah. So because you were feeling that way, that you feel like you were like pushy, like in the like objection handling, like you weren't feeling comfortable, like it was just feeling very like icky, like as a result of that, like what was your close rate in January?
Well, yeah, in January, so last one, so I moved between like the 19 23%. So that was kind of the last months I was around that. So I kind of crashed because December was somewhat of a good close rate altogether, but then after that I feel like I had a conversation, like I said, that I was feeling more hicky or I was not feeling comfortable, and that kind of crushed my close rate. So I felt like I was taking more calls, but I had more of these situations. So I would say January was more around like, yeah, the 20% if I could average, yeah, what it
Yeah.
was.
And we're in what? We're in March now.
Correct, yeah.
Oh my God, the time is flying by. Okay,
Yes.
so that was January, February, March. Okay, so that was like 3 months ago. When did we start working together? Was it in February?
Yeah, in February, like a mid-February, something like that, yeah.
Okay, so like mid-February. And how many sessions have we done now? Like four?
Altogether, I think, yeah, four, I think four, yeah.
Okay. And what is your current close rate? What are you sitting at right now?
So right now I'm sitting at 50%.
At a 50% close rate.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've more than doubled your close rate in the
Yeah.
span of like 30 days.
Yes. That's
I'm
awesome.
curious, like that is awesome. Like honestly, like hats off to you. Like what do you feel like the biggest difference has actually been like on your calls now, like as your objection handling and as you're going through your discovery?
That was the biggest difference for me, is how comfortable now I am, because I know how much of a difference it will make to get in that uncomfortable, to have those uncomfortable conversation. Even now, I don't sense them as uncomfortable. It's just obviously that is what's gonna make it or break it most of the time. So I know how relevant and important they are. And the way that I show up now is way more calm, confident, grounded when I have those conversations, because I genuinely want to understand. I'm genuinely curious about, the disconnect between what they're telling me and what after that they say that they're not ready. Well, they want to think about it, all these kind of things. I just like genuinely want to help them get them out of their own way, which is usually what happens when it comes to fear, when it comes to uncertainty. I don't see those conversations anymore as something that, oh no, something went wrong, that's why we're having this conversation. It's because it's just part of it, right? It's going to be part of the conversation no matter what. People bring something like this. So more so kind of ready and open to have that conversation, knowing that at the end of the day, this will can change your life, right? That can
Yeah.
literally just change the trajectory of, if they're going to be healthy again or not. It's crazy.
Yeah, so definitely it's like part of like that mindset piece of like,
Mhm.
our intentions behind like,
Yeah.
when we push, like when we ask questions, that feeling of like when we feel like we're doing it for ourselves, we're trying to get
Yeah.
that sale, that like icky salesy feeling versus like when our intentions are simply just to help, just to
Right.
show them the difference of like holding on to those beliefs and things that hold them back versus actually like
Mhm.
taking the lead.
Right.
Now I'm curious because, for a lot of reps, right, is they say kind of like 20% is not like a terrible close rate, right? Like it's not great, but it's not
Yeah.
terrible. And a lot of people would just kind of accept that. Like for you, like why did you actually decide to invest in your skill set and sales training?
I would say, I mean, like you said, a lot of people will be okay with that. For me, not necessarily just about the close rate itself, like it's good to know, like data what, but also that represent how much people I can be putting down or, not making a change. Like I'm here to change lives. That's what I like to say. So for me to get, the support to improve my skills, I know how much of a difference I can make, not just in my life in terms of like obviously the returns and all the things. We talk about money and stuff like that, but also in people that I'm talking with, the impact that I can have on them. I have the ability to lead them properly through something like this. It's like a
Yeah.
win-win situation, and that's how I like to see it, because I'm someone genuinely that loves to invest into getting support and seeing, especially when someone, for example, like you, who is striving, I see, what is possible, and that also allow me to be like, okay, there's more that I can learn, and I want to know. Like I'm really curious in nature, so I want to know more,
Yeah.
and I also personally feel that I'm improving in that space. But yeah, that's the big motivation, just seeing how much of an impact I can have on other people, not just myself.
And so, because you've been in the space for like a while now, like what have you like invested in like previously, like as you've, been in the space as a setter, as a closer, what does that look like?
A lot, a lot personally. I've invested when I got started in something more so basic to really understand the space. So I had a prior, I would say, kind of certification, but that just got me in the door of really saying, okay, this is what the space is all about. And then I was obviously looking for a position placement, but I knew I had to, get the experience, and no matter what would that look like. So that's also why I started as a setter, because I had no really experience background in as a closer in sales in general. So going through that, I know I got some, some mentorship through different big name in the space, I'll be honest, like that. Like I found on in Instagram, followed, and was like, hey, let me do that course and see what they're talking about, because I do believe that everybody has, something that they can provide that can help. And I want to see who's going to be also a better fit in the way that the type of mindset that I have, the
Yeah.
principle. I'm okay with experimenting and be like, okay, that
Yeah.
was actually good. Okay, no, I do not connect at all. And I don't see that as a waste, even though sometimes it can hurt because you invest money, right, at the end of the day. But for me, it's really important to, just keep on, moving and getting the support needed. And I don't think that's something that I'm gonna stop doing, no, like
Yeah.
anytime soon. I invested, if we just give a number, because obviously I'm not gonna give names, but at least one, two, like at least 6 times, 6, 7 times.
At least 6 times. Okay.
Yeah.
6, 7. Okay. I had to. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, right? Because I mean, that's the thing, right? Is especially in like 2026 is like there is so much sales training out there. There's
Yeah.
so many sales coaches. There's so many people claiming that they can help you get results. Like
Yeah.
what really stood out that made you actually want to work with me?
Would say is because a lot of space that I did invest in was really um to get started. Meaning like when I had at least one or two like a good understanding of like the basic of like how do we run a sales call and these kind of thing. Now I knew I needed a deeper understanding of the conversation that we're having in the depth in terms of like the psychology and like deeper thing. And I guess what attracted me to you is your leadership, which is something that I know I was wanting to work on, meaning when you lead a call, your assertiveness, but also your confidence and your calm, like groundness that I can sense, makes feel that people can trust you, like the way that you talk, etc. So it's not just obviously the way that you present yourself, so that attracted me, but also that the understanding of how to speak to someone to the mirror properly so they can really see the impact of like how this decision can change your life or not if they choose to. So
Yeah.
it's the translation of that because I feel I have the understanding, but how do you communicate that properly so it really lands? And I feel that you got that. So even though it's hard to even put into words, I feel it's like what I wanted to be in, yes, your energy kind of modeling a bit what you do and say, but obviously with my own tweaks and, my own personality. I think that was a good example for me of how leadership means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm curious, right? Because it's like when you first messaged me and you asked if like I was able to help is,
Hmm.
for most people, it's like they want to dip their toe in the water, right? And be like, okay, let me do one, like, see your style, see how I get along, or even like do a couple sessions. And you straight were like, no, like I want to lock this in, like I want
Yeah.
to go all in. Like, where does
Yeah.
that like mentality come from? Like, why not just try one session and like see how it goes?
Um, I guess, I mean, as I said, I'm a former athlete and I know obviously like the power it has to decide to be all in versus just to, like you said, dip your toe first and see
Yeah.
because that doesn't, yeah, I like I said, I was an athlete for so long and I also coach athletes at a high level and the difference between someone who say like, hey, let me just see, you kind of give also your permission to not give your all and to fully see the potential when you say let's just give a little bit. It's that fear of disappointment and everybody has that. I know that even though I can be scared because I don't know like what's gonna be like at the end of the day, like we always say, like there's no certainty in anything, there's no guarantee of like result and etc. But I can do is just put myself in the best position possible to get the result that I want, which means me being 100% saying yes and just going all in. It's me giving like control over the things that I truly have control over, which is myself, my attitude, my the step that I take, etc. So that's kind of the mentality here. Because I know also if I do that for myself, I mean, am congruent with like there's congruency between me and also the people that I serve. It's like I will feel more comfortable in
Yeah.
also leading
How
people
important
into
do you,
something.
yeah, how important do you think that is? Like the actual congruency for a sales rep between like investing in themselves, doing scary things, and also being able to do that for their prospects.
Oh, so important. That's even the reason why, to give you an idea, like recently I also invested in my health, like, what I sell on a day-to-day basis, we
Yeah.
do help a lot with that. And I was like, why not even myself give, have an idea what's going on with my body. I'm not saying that I'm in a bad position health-wise, but I know there are things that could be better. And I love when it comes to optimization. It's like, let's just do it. And I feel that after that, when it comes to conviction, when it comes to when you talk to someone, it's just so easy to see and share like with confidence what you're saying. It just makes it just so relatable and easier, way easier. You make your job easier
Yeah,
altogether.
absolutely. And it's something I say all the time is like that confidence and congruency is like the most important thing for like a sales rep to have. And that is like, our beliefs have to be stronger than theirs. And, if you want to lead people through fear, you want to be able
Hmm.
to be that person, like you first must be able to do that for yourself, which, we've talked about very in depth. And, something I've even noticed about you, which really stands out when you talk about this like all in mentality, is that it's like you show up, like you always show up, like you're ready, you're willing to learn, and it's also like your speed to implementation. Like
Hmm.
every session we've done, like you come prepared, like with questions, you know exactly like what you need to work on, and you come back to me, you're like, okay, I tried this, like this is what happened, like maybe I might go wrong in the delivery, or what would I do next time? Or it's like, okay, cool, like I got this, like we're
Hmm.
back, we did like 2 for 2 today, like now
Yeah.
there's like a new thing. And I'm curious as well, because I think for a lot of like women, like in this as well, like when their close rate does dip, or they have like a lower month, because I know December like was quite good for you, and then
Mhm.
January like was that drop. Like how did that affect like your own like confidence and doubt, if you want to talk about that?
Yeah, no, it does affect you for sure because, to be honest, deep down, especially when you're in that field, like performance is something that you can take personal really easily, right? It's like, oh, am I good enough? Or you start like having all those questions about like how good you truly are. There can be a lot of like external reason why things happen in terms of marketing, in terms of leads, all the things not serving me to believe that it's just going to be that. So I know on my end, I also have to look at things for what they are and see, okay, what else can I do on my own to improve and, get better because that's the thing I have control over right now. And I don't know, I don't want to stay in that space any longer. So if I know
Yeah.
deep down that I cannot help myself on my own, I know that I'm open to like get the support that I truly need to move past that quicker. I deep down if I, just took the time and like etc. like I could eventually get it, but I don't like wasting time. I don't like being like if I know I could get the support for somebody else,
Yeah,
like
because
I'm
I
the
was
same
gonna
thing that
say,
applying
surely,
here.
surely, I mean, with
Yeah,
all the objection handles on like YouTube, like you could have just like gone
exactly.
and watched that. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's what a lot of reps is. It's just like
Mm.
when we think about that time versus money, right? Is there like, oh, that investment, like, is it going to pay off? Is it going to be worth it? Like, I'm
Yeah.
just going to like try to like do it by myself. I'm going to try to figure it out. But for you, like, it sounds like that's like never been like the case. Like, even just
No.
like from your background and everything there.
Exactly. I've always trusted that first off, I'm someone's impatient, but there's context that I can be patient, like in a call and things like that. But I know deep down, like naturally, I am really impatient as a person. But I utilize that as a plus in the sense that I would not myself stuck, long enough to quit on something. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, as I know that, okay, yes, I can watch these videos, all the thing that sounds good, but I cannot transfer that directly into what I do. I know there's something that I'm missing and getting the support. And the support also means that I'm putting in a position of, surrounding myself with people who can also show me what's possible next. And I like that energy a lot, right? I like to
Yeah,
hear like what's been done, what's possible, and surrounding myself with the people that, or have this level, like this caliber of conversation. And that just allows
yeah,
me that when things are not as good, and move through and be like, that's temporary. Like, that's not what's gonna be like forever. Like, I can
yeah.
move past that easier. Yeah.
So what is next? What is the big goal that we are like looking to hit this year?
So big goal for me is definitely like obviously keeping that close rate, improving it. I'm good. Obviously, in terms of money on a monthly basis. Like I want to improve how much I'm making. I would want to be hitting like first official 10K and be fully only closing because I'm still a bit part-time at a job right now. I know I could leave and things like that, but I'm like I want to put my like do any of the things that I can now with the support to when I decide to move that it's just happen. So my goal right now is just to yeah, just making it happen. I know eventually starting on another offer as we talked about. So that's something happening now. So I'm really excited for what's next because that's gonna be the first time I'm gonna go in a different industry, but up to the challenge. That's something I've been thinking about is like, do I want to apply? Do I want to just better skin getting more experience? And then when I apply, it's just like a no-brainer, right? So that's kind of the mentality here of I want to take my time to an extent of like step by step, knowing that the opportunities are getting in front of me. But for what's next is for me to be like dedicate myself to this year. This is my full-time gig, and also hitting those first like 5-figure months like on a consistent basis.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, we are definitely going to be hitting that soon. And that is on
Yes.
the work. I mean, look at what we've done in just the past like 30 days, which has been really, really, it's been honestly just such a pleasure to work with you and just see you grow. And when you're on your calls now, like, and I say this because when I was on my calls in the beginning, like I used to feel the same way where I was like, oh, this
Mhm.
feels so pushy. And I feel this kind of anxiousness. Like, how would you say overall, like your state is like your calls?
Like I don't know if I have a word. I like to say grounded, but the thing is I'm really yeah, grounded, more intentional, meaning I really take the time when I know I feel like I want to speed up, like I'm conscious of being slowing down, pacing myself. And I know it makes a big difference in the depth. So right now, I used to be more anxious speaking really quick versus now able to be, yeah, more grounded and more intentional in the way that
Yeah.
I speak.
Yeah. And it's like we talked about, it's like that like detachment, like when you're
Yeah.
truly able to like detach from that outcome and like
Yep.
look for you and like whether you buy or you don't buy, like I'm either way and you can truly master that art of detachment, like
Hmm.
that attributes so much to that like,
Yes.
the close rate because it's like we can say all the right things, but
Hmm.
if like our mental and our state
Yeah.
isn't dialed in as well, it's not going to work. So
Correct.
I do appreciate everything that you've shared with us today. It's been absolutely fantastic. One last question for you is for anyone that is on the fence about investing and working with me is what would you say to them?
They just do it just because again I know there's no guarantee now the thing about at the same time this will put you in a better position to truly understand like how to lead those conversation and put yeah I would say really put yourself in this in a place where you can understand how to have greater impact and someone who's done it who has this kind of success at at your age, Emma, or as quickly as you did is because of how the reps and everything you put in and just being in your surrounding, I guess, around you, kind of that standard up there. And great to be like put accountable. And I guess someone who's on the fence of that, if you're looking to go from good to great, is that's the no-brainer. Like you just have to trust that this is just gonna get better, and nobody truly will tell themselves that they'll regret put themselves in a better position at the end of the day when that this is what they can have. So yeah, I would say just do it.
Fantastic. Well, look, it has been a pleasure. Pleasure. Guys, this is Maxine, and we will speak to you very soon.